All right, this is chapter 9, physical security. Kind of a interesting chapter, kind of a quick chapter. Okay. Physical security, we all know what it is. You know, I used to live on base. Anyone ever live on military base? Okay. Did you feel safe on the base? What do you think? Pretty much. I never locked my house. I remember when I moved off base, I had to pay money because I couldn't find the keys. They're like, what do you mean you lost the keys? I'm like, I literally never locked my house. I mean, there's armed guards everywhere. You're behind gates. I mean, so yeah, physical security is a big deal. A few years ago, though, it was funny because the south gate, off Douglas, who went south, the gate had fallen down. It was down for years, and no one fixed it. People could have just walked on Tinker. It was kind of funny, but okay. So it involves the protection of physical items, objects, and areas for unauthorized access. Okay. If you have a machine that stores a credit card, it has to be behind two different locks. Which to get to that device, it has to, two different doors with two different locks. So it's just all kinds of weird rules like that. Okay, so technology-based controls can be circumvented. Obviously, you can tap a wire, but it's hard to tap a door. Not the door's unlocked. Different story. Obviously, the door worked great today because none of you could get in. But all right. Temperatures, gases, liquids. There's a lot of stuff. And whenever a fire, I've had a fire, and what's cool about a fire, I know a lot of you are young, but does anyone have a box of junk you just don't want to get rid of because you might want it someday, even though you haven't touched it in 20 years? You know what happens when you have a fire? That's gone. I literally had a fire, and I lost pretty much everything, and what I had to do was, they're like, you need to tell us what you lost. I'm like, great. And show us a picture of it. So I literally, at the end of the fire, the fireman basically threw a pile of crap out on the patio. So there's a pile of ashes. So for all this stuff, I had to list, I lost this, picture of the ashes. I lost this, picture of the ashes. I literally could have said anything. But extreme temperatures, gases, liquids, water. My mother-in-law's sister, whatever relation that is to me, I have no idea. She died recently, and she was not a hoarder, but she never threw anything away. Okay, so in other words, she had every bank statement from the 70s, all perfectly filed in a box and everything. So it's not like it's a bunch of shit thrown everywhere. But she died recently, and they had to get down a couple weeks ago and clean out the house. I don't know if I told you the story, but they had to go clean out the house, and they literally rented one of those huge, long dumpsters, from this wall to that wall, filled it to the brim, took out everything except for the refrigerator and a couch that my wife's baby sister was going to get on a couple weeks later and get it. She wasn't there for the cleaning because she's a worthless person. And she causes trouble, so everybody said, you know what, we're going to clean it when you can't be there, then you can just come down and get the couch and the stuff on your own. So it was kind of funny, but so she went and got it, I guess about 2 weeks ago. Then this week, the real estate, this house is in Dallas, prime housing area, and literally as they were cleaning it, people were coming by and making offers on it. It's like, I want the house. Well, it turns out they have to close on it today because the realtor said they can't take any more calls. Their phone is ringing nonstop for this house. The bid started at $85,000. It was already up to $135,000 yesterday. Who knows what it's up to now? It was like, no, I'll offer more. And they're like, we can't. We are literally not getting anything done. The phone will not stop ringing. We are taking off the market today. So that realtor went in there, I guess it was Monday, to show it. And stupid wife's baby sister took the refrigerator. You have an ice maker? And you got the hose into the ice maker? Didn't turn the water off, just stuck it in the washing machine. So guess what happens after a week or so? Washing machine fills up with water. Floors fill up with water. Carpets are all ruined. It's like, oh my God. So she's just a piece of work. But yeah, obviously liquid damage now. They had to rip out all the carpeting. But luckily, there's such a demand for the house, they don't care. I'm like, okay, that's a good thing. Living organisms. Mold. Anyone ever have a problem with mold? I own a house in Del City that was given to me. It was given to me by my ex-wife's aunt, weird relations, but basically she lived there, then moved to Tulsa, and didn't touch the house for nearly 10 years. You know what happens if you don't touch a house for 10 years? It's dirty, and you have a tree go through the roof. So there's a hole literally this big through the roof. You can see the sun. So obviously the house is all moldy and everything. But she's like, Ken, there's the city suing me if I don't get that. I mean, the windows are busted out. So she gave it to me. Literally just canister. So I spent 35 grand on it to fix it all up, and now it's worth about 75, which is great. But it had mold in it. I called one company to come out, and they were like, oh, we need to get a hazmat, blah, blah, blah. It's going to cost, hundreds of thousands. Basically, it's not even worth it to fix it. I called this other company. They just did it. I'm like, I don't know. All I know is I had mold it, and the other company fixed it somehow a lot cheaper. So, projectiles, maybe a bomb, just all kinds of stuff that could cause loss of property. Okay? Movement, energy anomaly, just all kinds of stuff. Okay? And, maybe there's a lightning strike. It could be all kinds of stuff causing issues. So, okay. It says reasonable facility. Basically, who's going to take care of this? Okay. IT management. Now, do you think IT is really in charge of physical security? Not really. They would be involved in maybe the automated door locks and stuff like that, but the IT could care less about this door right here. Okay. They do risk assessments. Now, that would be involved in part of your risk assessment. Excuse me. Is the door locked? Stuff like that. Is it secure? But they don't do a lot with it. Some of the controls. What's happening on 15th Street? The traffic lights. That's a form of control. And I don't know if they're ever going to finish 15th Street. I try. Does anyone drive down it every day? I don't. I bypass it. If at all possible. That is terrible. But there's just lots of stuff that can be fences, gates, walls, guards, alarms, just all kinds of stuff you can have. Okay? Dogs, ID cards. Anyone ever get on Taker now? The ID cards they scan them? It's funny because they very seldom ever scan them. I'm retired. It's blue. It never expires. I guess it expires in the year 2027 because then they have to give me a new one. But it's funny. I'll go there with my family and they'll scan all the dependent ID cards. They won't scan mine. So, it's good. It's not going to expire ever. Man traps. Did I ever tell you the story up at the NSA, the man trap story? Well, Mark, I can't think of his last name. Mark's his first name. He went to an internship up there, and I guess there's a trick they play on everybody he was telling me about. The way a man trap works is you open a door and go into a room, close the door. Then you open the second door to get in. So in other words, you're trapped in the middle. Okay? And the NSA happens to weigh you. And if you're not within 7 pounds of your prior weight, it locks you in there. Until a supervisor can... So, don't go in there after you take a cruise or something. It might be a problem. But Mark was saying, whenever they get a new intern there, what they always do is send them out for some orange juice. Hey, it's coffee and donuts. Will you go out and get us a couple gallons of orange juice? So what happens when you walk through there with 2 gallons of orange juice? You gain more than 7 pounds. And then they all get locked in there. So he says it's something they play all the time. So just funny stuff. Electronic monitoring. Maybe you got RFID. There's just all kinds of things. Same guy, Mark, was up at I think it was the IRS at this point. The guy's a pretty amazing guy. He smokes. So he went out to take a smoke break. And they were up there on a weekend, and you can exit the doors, but on the weekends they can't get back in. So basically they have a motion sensor on the inside, so you can walk out. But to get back in, someone has to come and let you in or have a key. So he went out to smoke, door locked behind him, and then he got back into the training room, and the instructor was like, how did he get back in here? He had a balloon. So he just stuffed it underneath the door, blew it up, and the balloon, basically caused enough motion that the motion sensor went off. It's kind of crazy the stuff he comes up with. You can also do it with a piece of paper. You have a sliding door, just take a piece of paper, stick it through there. Motion sensor would see the sliding paper. No, it's just crazy. Okay, but alarm system. I'm assuming some of you have alarm systems. Okay, I have one where I have to always turn it on armed stay. Because my darn cats, I don't know how my cat set this thing off. It's supposed to be set for 70 pounds, but my cat set it off. I don't know how they do it. Computer rooms obviously need to be locked. Wiring closets need to be locked. Just all kinds of different controls that can be in place. Let me start talking about guards. How much do you think we pay guards? Not much. Okay. I've had guards steal stuff here. So dogs. That's another thing there. Maybe they're hungry. Just feed them. Okay. ID cards, badges, smart cards. Road State, I don't know if you noticed outside of our doors, they got all those sensors for the smart cards. The problem is we don't have the IDs to work with them. So sooner or later, they're going to make it so our IDs will work on those locks, but they just don't have any way to get them at the moment. So it's weird. We have the control in place, we just can't use the control. So it's kind of funny. Tailgating, that's walking in behind somebody. Okay, easy stuff there. Okay, there it is. You unlock it and someone walks right in behind you. Kevin Mitnick's book, Ghost in the Wires, he talks about some of the ways he did that, and it's just pretty interesting. Okay, locks and keys, we all know what those are. Okay, we have programmable locks. We have all kinds of different locks out there. I was up at the Hard Rock Casino in Tulsa. Anyone ever been there? Well, they have locks they have safes. And it was funny because I had to get them to come and unlock the safe. And the guy punched in 9999 super user mode and safe unlocks. So it was like, wow, they didn't even change it from the default. That was the default password for that brand of safe. So you ever go to a hotel room, just try 9999 and see if the safe doesn't automatically open. I recorded it, put it up on YouTube. It's pretty funny. So. Okay, man traps, kind of talked about that. That's kind of a picture. You go at the outer door. There's also a movie called Sneakers with Robert Redford. Anyone ever seen that? You guys miss out on the best movies. You need to watch Sneakers with Robert Redford. They have something similar to this in here. Closed circuit TV. I have cameras at home that notify me all the time if there's a motion in my house. I was gone. Was I gone last week or the week before? Week before. I have a camera in my office, and that camera notifies me when there's activity. Normally, the camera turns off at 6:30 in the morning, turns back on at 7 p.m., because I don't want to be notified every time I go in my office. That drives me nuts. But while I was gone that week, I have it turned on, and it was like Tuesday or Wednesday. It goes off, tells me there's activity in my office, so I bring up I was in a class all day sitting in a computer, so I brought up the interface, and the dean's in my office. Going through my desk. He's literally going through every drawer in my desk. So I call him, you need something? Freaked him out. He was looking for a document about our certification, which I said, I'll just mail it to you real quick. But then Steve heard about that. So Steve and Arlene went in there and started playing around. But it's kind of what it is. I use something called Nest. I don't know if you've ever seen Nest. Actually, I can't show you on the computer because I don't know what the password is. It's like 30 characters long. But I will show you on my phone so you can see what it is. I will show you my pool. Come on. There. Okay, here's a picture of my pool in my backyard. And look at the bottom of the screen. You see all the dots? Colored dots? The colored dots are motion. So that means someone was it was probably my dog or the cat or someone running back, or it's shadow.
You can hear it's got audio too. We can hear the wind.
Yeah, you can hear wind blowing, right? Because this is actually an outdoor one. But it's a really nice feature, and these cameras actually will give you 3 hours of recording for free. In other words, you can always see 3 hours back. But if you pay the money, you get 10 days of recording, which I have. And if you pay the money, you also get not only motion notification, but you get people notification. So when my cat goes by, it says motion. When the FedEx guy comes up, it says there's a person. It's actually, and if it thinks it's a person, but not positive, like the day I was mowing the lawn, it said possible person, because I just saw a head, but it didn't see a body. So it was, because I was riding on the riding lawnmower. But, if you don't have stuff like that, I highly recommend getting it. The technology is just amazing nowadays.
What's it called? Nest.
Nest. I'll show you real quick where they're. I can't log in. I don't know the password.
How much do you pay, on that?
I pay the first camera on your account is $100 a year. So
That's not.
it's not bad. The second camera is $50. Okay, here we go. Probably go to Amazon and see them, but they're super nice. The reason I got these is that's just what they look like. Those are the indoor. The outdoor ones will be on here somewhere. There was a video online that I saw. They also notify you when they're disconnected. Okay? Someone broke into her house and saw the camera and ripped the camera down. Well, she got notification the camera's disconnected. But it's still recorded up until the time. So you literally saw the guy walking up to it and grabbing the camera, and then it went offline because he disconnected. But it's like, wow, that's actually kind of cool.
And he actually left the camera there?
I don't know, but he disconnected it. Okay.
Oh,
The cable to it. It has a cable, a power cable.
so the video isn't going... the video isn't stored on the camera, it's recorded.
Correct. The video is stored online, which is nice. And you can share the clips and everything else. Where's the outdoor ones?
He's got everything.
Nest Cam Outdoor. Yeah, there. This is the outdoor camera. That cable's like 30 feet long that goes to that. It does infrared. It's really, really nice. So, yeah, it works really good. And now what I just showed you was an outdoor camera. But kind of a neat feature. And, it's one of those things you don't need them until it's too late. I always wanted to get one. Now someone broke into my house and now I have nothing. So I actually use them. Let me find this here. Let me go into my YouTube channel real quick. YouTube. Okay, this is my channel. Yeah. All right. And if you ever notice, my username at the top is YU1ERTG. Anybody know what that means? YU1ERTG? No idea. I was setting up YouTube to see how it worked, and I just hit the keyboard. And those are the buttons my fingers hit. So, don't mean a darn thing. Okay, there's a video up here of my dogs breaking into my house. And do we have...
I don't see anyone. I think they're gone. I'm just gonna go in.
No, don't. I don't think it's safe. Shouldn't go in there.
Shh.
We put voices
Yes,
to
it
it.
is. There's goodies in here. I want them.
No, they're gonna kill us. The black dog's
Come
my
on.
dog.
Jackpot!
Do not, no.
Look at all the goodies. All the boxes.
You gotta get out of there.
Oh.
The door was shut for a reason. I don't know. Oh, I don't know.
It's so good. It's so good. Are you sure you don't want any?
No, come on,
Share.
dude. No, I can't. They're
Coming home?
Yeah, they are. They're
No,
gonna come
it'll
through
be
this
all
door.
gone long before they get home.
They're gonna be through this door any second.
No. Go in your cage. I'm gonna sit here in your cage and eat it, so they'll think that
The brown
you
dog
ate it, not
would
me.
steal stuff and eat it in the black dog's cage. So all this time we thought it was the black dog for months until we got that video, and I'm like, are you kidding me?
You evil little dog.
But we went to Universal Studios in the Harry Potter land, and she bought one of them chocolate Harry Potter frogs, expensive ones. He took it and ate it.
Did that kill him?
No, it didn't. But, funny story, I got a copyright notification from YouTube this last week for that video, saying I was stealing somebody else's intellectual property. I'm like, what are you talking about? That's my video with my dogs in my house. Well, I submitted it to America's Home Videos, whatever, funny home videos, years ago. When did this happen? I don't even know what year, 2014. I guess just now they're going to use it for something or post it somewhere because I had to sign away the copyright, which I'm fine with. So I was like, what the heck? But they're making money off my video now. But that's an example of one of the cameras. So they work good, and you obviously can get recordings with them and everything. So, all right. But with closed circuit television, I mean, every restaurant has closed circuit television, but is someone actually looking at it? I will tell you one place that does look at it all the time is casinos. All the time. They're always looking at that stuff. Okay. Alarm systems, are they monitored or not? Mine's monitored, okay? Now, they don't have to be, but they could be. You have alarm systems that can also check for smoke or carbon monoxide or whatever. My son happened to work for an alarm company, so he installed my alarm. And, yeah, all I know is I have like 30 sensors. Like every single window, every door, everything is monitored for $34. I can't get anyone to beat that price. I'm just going to keep this company forever. So, okay. Doors and walls. How about these ceilings? Would it be good to have this kind of ceiling in a secure location? No, people climb over the wall. Quite simple to do. Okay. Fire safety. I will tell you, I actually had a question on my CISSP about fire safety. Now, we have smoke thingies in here. Now, these are not detectors. These are the sprinklers. The detectors are actually out in the hallway, which I don't think that... Oh, there's one here. Okay, we have one in this room. But not all rooms have those. And they come in different types. I don't know if they're going to show us, but they have water, mist, carbon monoxide, and when I was in Germany, I worked at a test cell where we tested jet engines, and that had a halon system. If you know anything what a halon system is, it displaces oxygen. They're kind of illegal now to have. They're very dangerous. But I guess after I left Germany, someone actually set that off accidentally. So I don't know. It's pretty funny. But they have all kinds of different ones. They have fire detection, they have fire suppression, they have all the different kinds. And they have something called wet and dry pipe. Did they say which one this one is? Liquid filled gas tube trigger breaks, releases the stopper, allowing water to hit the diffuser, spraying water. So basically there's water right there. It's at that valve right there, right now. Okay. If this thing breaks right here, this will pop down and then water will squirt out. This is called a wet pipe. What do you think? Good or bad? They're very popular, by the way. They're good. But what if you have a lot of electronics? They're bad because they go off instantly. A dry pipe, basically what it is, you have something similar to this, but rather than setting off in water immediately, the water is not in the pipes. So the water, so if that detector detected a fire, it would send a signal to the main valve downstairs, where after so many seconds would then squirt or send water through the system. So for like a computer control room or something, you don't want wet pipe, because if there's a fire, immediately you lose everything. You don't have any kind of, oh crap, it was an accident, you know. So, yeah, different kinds of those things out there. When I was in the military, I was a jet engine mechanic for years. So we always had to do fire extinguisher training twice a year. And they would always light a fire. We all had to get the fire extinguisher, put out the fire. It might sound hokey, but it's kind of important. You need to know how to do that. Like if you get a grease fire at home, what do? Throw water on it? No, we all know you don't. You put either salt or put a lid on it. But I'm willing to bet there's a lot of people who would just throw water on it, then blow themselves up, and So there's gaseous systems like halon, stuff like that. Again, they're not used much anymore. They basically just stop the oxygen flow. Okay. Let's see. Supporting utilities, heating, ventilation, air conditioning, kind of important stuff. What happens if you don't have heat? Computers probably would still work, but they could get condensation. Okay. Obviously, employees probably wouldn't work if it got too cold. Same with ventilation or air conditioning. If it got too hot, you couldn't work. Obviously, the computers couldn't function correctly. I mean, our server down the hall, if it gets too hot in there, man, those fans go on like overdrive, and it is so loud you can hear it down the stairs. It's like, what the heck is that noise? They're so loud. Okay. So they talk a little bit more about air conditioning. They're talking about voltage. Now, they can talk about ventilation shafts. That's like Die Hard. I watched a story about the making of Die Hard. It's pretty... Y'all seen that show. I mentioned it so many times, y'all had to watch it by now. But there's a point where there's the elevator shaft where he throws the chair down it. That was made with a special stuff that only burned at 120 degrees. I never knew there was such a thing that only burned at 120 degrees. They said they had to find something special because they had to shoot it so many times. They didn't want to keep destroying the building and burning up the camera. So it only burned at 120 degrees. I mean, that's nothing. That's water temperature. So, I don't know, crazy stuff. But ventilation shafts, are those protected? Stuff like that. Okay. Power management. Do you have a battery backup? Anyone here have a battery backup? Probably not. Very few people do, but I have one. I have one in my office. I bought it myself. But nothing pisses me off more than right in the middle of something and there's enough of a power fluctuation the computer resets. I don't have a problem. So mine works fine. Okay. They also talk in here about noise interference. It's also called dirty power, where you get power that's not quite good enough. And see, when I ran my ISP at my house, I actually had a natural gas generator installed. So at my house, if I lose power, it takes 10 seconds for my system to... It detects the power failure and waits 10 seconds, just in case it's a quick on. And then the generator turns on, and it takes about 24 seconds to come online. So basically 34 seconds after the power failure, I have power. It's expensive because gas is expensive, and during that ice storm a few years ago, my gas bill was like $400. But I had power. The only problem was, do y'all know what AC power is? It's like a sine wave, they call it. It's a nice, pretty wave. Generator power was up, over, down. It's like flattened. It's not quite the same thing. Some things don't like it. So, but it works for most things. Okay. They also talk about cycles. That's how many lumps they have per second. 60 per second or 50 per second. Why that's important is if you buy something in Europe that's not adjustable, well, they're on 50 cycles. Here we're on 60 cycles, or vice versa. I can't remember which one's which. And I brought an alarm or a plug-in clock on a cruise ship one time, and I was losing, it was like 10 minutes a day because the cycles were off. I don't remember if it was going too slow or too fast, but I think, like, say my clock was looking for 60 cycles, and the ship was European, so it only had 50 cycles, so it was too fast, so I'd be gaining time. So just kind of weird things like that you wouldn't normally think of. Grounding, obviously an important thing, so you don't burn stuff up. Oh, amperage, that's like the capacity of the electricity. You know you can get shocked with thousands of volts and not even hurt you? Do y'all know that? It's not a big deal. I change light switches and plugs all the time in my house without even turning the power off. It's only 120 volts. That's nothing. A shock from static electricity is like 12,000 or 1,200, whatever it is a lot more. But amps is what hurts you. All right. Now they go into UPS. Is what type of UPS? We have standby, and they show a picture. Standby UPS basically detects a power failure and then switches over. That's what I have. They have online, they have offline, they have mixture. They just have all kinds of them. Let's see if I can find a picture of one, a good one. Let's see, commercial. Let's see if I can find a picture of a commercial battery backup. There we go. Look at walls of batteries. DISA has this. DISA over on Tinker has all the batteries. So basically their system is running off those batteries at all times. And then those batteries are charged by the electrical supply. If the electrical supply fails, then they have diesel generators which then power the batteries. So that way there's no fluctuation in their system whatsoever. But that's a lot of darn batteries. Okay. Tesla's Powerwall. Hopefully we'll switch to something like that soon. But I mean, look at all these battery backups. It's just tons of them. You can do these here. Okay. All kinds of battery backups. Most of us just have home use ones, which are, let's see, home use, which are small. Like, actually, these are still pretty big. Normally for home, you're going to find a $150 one. Like an AP. Wow, these are all huge. But they have small ones. Let's see. APC. Select our country. Where we want to be from today. We need to be able to read it, so let's go to the United States. Okay, products and services. Let's look for power. Battery backups. Computer and peripheral. There we are, just all kinds of different ones. I mean, this is a low-end one. It's probably less than $100. see what it costs. I have a little bit bigger than that, but they change all the time. Yes, $89 is what they're going for. So they're not bad. It's not going to run your stuff for very long. You might get 10 minutes of a television or a computer running on it, not much more than that. But they are nice to have. And the prices do increase as the larger they get. And the batteries do fail. My home generator, I've replaced the batteries at least 3 times. During that, what was it, like 6 years ago, we had that big ice storm where we were without power for 6 days. It's funny because I don't change the oil in my generator very much. I probably should. But every Sunday it runs for 15 minutes. It charges it and cycles the system. But during that ice storm, it was like the 4th day into the ice storm. I said, you know what, let me go check the generator. So I walk outside just as oil's pouring underneath the panel of the generator. The oil line popped off. And I just happened to walk outside right as it happened. So I ran over real quick, turned it off, went and got a new oil filter, more oil, and put the line back on. But I was like, because that would have been a major issue if the engine was running without power. But yeah, battery backup's kind of a nice system. Okay. Emergency shutoff. This is an important aspect of power management's ability to stop power immediately if the current represents a risk to human or machines. So if it detects something, it should be able to turn off or have an emergency switch somewhere. Okay. Kind of like gas pumps. You wouldn't believe the amount of people that drive off without pulling the gas pump out of their car. It's crazy. Actually, let's see a picture of one. Hold on. Drive off with gas. Wow, it's even right at the top. Look at all these people driving around with the gas pump still in their cars. Okay, and these are actually made to do that. They're made to break away so they don't leak gas everywhere. And there's also emergency disconnects, and now obviously that one down there is not working quite so well. But yeah, there's lots of times that's happened. I actually was down at the gas station in Pauls Valley, Shell station on the west side of the highway, right after wintertime. It was cold outside. Somebody was putting gas in their car, put the gas pump in the car, climbed in the car to warm up, and static electricity, and blew up. Car caught on fire, gas pump caught on fire. I was like, whoa, not a good thing. So. All right, so water problems. Lack of water, maybe your fire system's not going to work, or your coolant system's not going to work, or water leaks like we talked about earlier. It could be anything. Structural collapse, what happens if your building falls? I mean, if your building falls, tornado, you're probably going to lose everything. Okay. Maintenance, physical security must be constantly documented, evaluated, and tested. You have to check everything, make sure it all still works. Okay. Interception, direct observation, someone could watch you. I was very impressed going through the Will Rogers Airport a couple years ago, because you know the doors going out to the planes, they all have those code locks. I was over there watching, and you see people going over there and covering it up and putting the code in, which was kind of good. I was glad they were doing that. People could capture data. It could be magnetic interception, kind of like Ocean's 12 or 13. They also talk about Tempest. Not really important anymore. Really, nationwide, what it is, Tempest is terminal emanation. I don't even think they have a picture of it. They don't. It's capturing electronic signals. You know the old CRTs, cathode ray tubes, the old computer monitors we had? You know you could actually capture the signal off that about a mile away because they put out electromagnetic signal. And that's what that was all about. It was about capturing that. When I worked at Tinker years ago with the old, literally you had to have a copper shielding around all of your monitors. The guy up at OSUIT, this is years ago, he actually made a screensaver that when you use the proper tool to capture the radiation or the signal off of it, played music. So it's pretty cool stuff. Okay. Mobile portable systems. Hopefully you have locks and codes on all of those. Okay. We're just about done here. Let's see. CompuTrace. You know what happens if your laptop gets stolen? Okay. Find My iPhone. Does Android have anything like that? Like Find My iPhone? So I can see where my phones are at all times. assuming Android has something like that. But you can get it for your laptops. You can get it for all that stuff. Then you capture people. There's a video out there. It's like, don't steal hackers' computer. Well, it's right there. Okay. You need to watch this video. This is the funniest video.
All right. I have it on no less of an authority of speaking on at DEF CON than Jason Scott here.
This guy's talking about someone stealing his laptop. He goes, a big old story. And he even captures pictures of the guy, and it's just hilarious what he does.
That goes off to the police.
So, I mean, literally, this guy's, it's just hilarious what this guy does.
I think they make shotguns that can.
So yeah, it's pretty interesting. Just search for "don't steal hacker's computer" and you'll find it. It's just a hilarious story of when someone steals his computer and how he basically terrorized the guy. It's kind of interesting. Okay, where'd my slide go? All right, remote computing security. I got a question while we're on this topic. Is anyone who here has used a VPN before? One of you, maybe a little bit. We talk about VPNs a lot in a lot of our classes, but we don't actually do it. So actually, we just had a meeting literally just before I came up here. We will be probably in the fall. We'll actually be having a lab set up where you guys would actually have to connect in via VPN. We're trying to get it so you do more stuff that you learn about rather than just hearing about a VPN. Actually use a VPN. Connect to a VPN. I use something right now called VPN Secure. I think this is the name of it. Is this the one? Come on. Yeah, this is the one I use. I use VPN. I pay $34 for life. And whenever at home, I can connect this, and I can basically say I'm in whatever country I want. One of my other students wrote an article about this, and I said, I was graded. I said, yes, great article, and I'm currently grading your assignment in Italy. Because you know that you all heard on the news where ISPs are going to be able to start selling your history. Not with that, they ain't. They can't see what I'm doing. So, I mean, if you're worried about your privacy whatsoever, $34 for a lifetime is worth it. So. But we're actually going to be doing a project where y'all can start using VPNs and stuff like that. Remote dial-in software, that's a lot of times what VPNs are used for. They talk about telecommuting here. Let me give you the best example of telecommuting, which I was in Gaithersburg, Maryland at NIST headquarters with a meeting with a bunch of NSA people and other people up there. And I was sitting at a table with a lady, and I was talking about Oklahoma. She goes, I'm from Oklahoma. What? She goes, oh, I live in Choctaw. I'm like, well, so do I. She lives right off of 23rd Street. And I said, wait a second, you work for the NSA? She goes, oh, yeah. I work from home. I come up here about 4 times a year for meetings, and that's it. I do all the rest from home. I'm like, that's awesome. So a lot of companies are starting to do that. JetBlue, 100% of their reservation agents work from home. There was some company, I forget which one it was. Basically, there was a video about it, too, where this lady had chickens. So whenever you would call in, you could hear all the chickens in the background. It's just, and one of the ladies I do mystery shopping with, one of the schedulers, she lives out in Stroud. But all of the reservation agents live in Georgia. So I'm like, wait a minute, your number's in Stroud. Because, yeah, I live there. No, you're supposed to live in Georgia. She goes, shh, don't tell them I moved. I'm like, okay. But, I mean, tell the community, why would it matter where you live? I mean, you can literally do it from home. A lot of places are doing that now. Like, Virginia works on base. One day a week, they're allowed to telecommute. Now, whenever there's bad weather, they tell them, okay, everybody telecommute today. They supply them with laptops, and they can do all their stuff from home. So, kind of cool. Need access from trips. While you're like, I'll be on a cruise ship. My favorite one yet was the student emailing me. This is a couple years ago now. I'm sorry, I won't be able to do my homework this week. I'm on a cruise ship. I says, it's okay. I'm currently grading your homework from the cruise ship. You'll have no problems. So, now, I mean, internet's everywhere. Everywhere. Okay. Special consideration. It says, many qualified professional agencies, you can hire a lot of this stuff out. Most places do. We hire out our security here at Rose State. We actually, I think it was about 2 years ago, we actually had our own police force. That lasted for like 1 semester. Then we realized it's too damn expensive. So we hire it out again. So, you know, security is expensive. There's just a lot of stuff involved that you don't know. Social engineering, we all know what that is. We talked about that before, but it's getting information from people, basically. Inventory. This monitor costs less than $500, so it's not inventory. This computer costs more than $500, so it is inventory. You know, inventory your stuff. What do you inventory? Okay, and that's the end of the chapter. Okay, that's all of chapter 9. All right. Now I'm going to talk about your assignment.